Hello, Pastor.
Can you tell us your name and a little bit about yourself?
So, I'm Valerie. I'm over 50, mother of 4 young adults, and a nana to 4 from 11 months, 2.5, 13 going on 21, and a 16-year-old.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
So is it safe to say you've lived a fruitful life?
Yes.
Happy life?
Yeah, on the whole, I've been blessed, and a happy life. Yeah, surrounded with lots of love and blessings.
And I suppose with some ups and downs here and there.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that comes to mind you'd love to share with us today?
So over the years, which is possibly the happiest time of your life, and it was pregnancy. I had health issues starting in '95 with my son. I developed symphysis lupus, which is where the hormone relaxes your pelvis too much. So it wasn't too bad at that time, but it was painful to walk and to go up the stairs. And in my last pregnancy with my daughter, that showed itself quite early. I was admitted to hospital with severe sickness. I always suffer. That's how you know it's a girl. Terribly with morning sickness with girls. The boys, not too bad. And then I was complaining to the midwife, I've got a really sore back, I have to lie on my side. And she was saying, oh, it's all to do with the sickness, you've probably pulled a muscle. So after a week I was discharged, and it was no better. In fact, it was getting worse. So when the midwife came out to check on me, I was explaining to her the pain climbing the stairs, getting into the bath, and just moving around. And that's when she said, you've got that symphysis. So then I ended up having to wear a girdle. Then I was on a stroller. Then I ended up in a wheelchair. And I had to have my mum and husband hold my legs together giving birth, because I would have broken my pelvis, they said. But luckily it was only for an hour, shot out. And
this was in your 20s, early?
30s.
30s.
Yeah, she's my last, so I was in my 30s. But then after her, I was still in a wheelchair up to 2 years. And then they said, oh, you've got arthritis in your lower back and in your left hip. Apparently, I'd fractured my hip, they didn't realise. And so they've said that in my right hip, it hadn't closed. And because they didn't realise, it was too late to operate. So I just got on with it. Thought, well, everybody has arthritis, so I got on with it. And then from there, it just seems to be one thing after another, health-wise. Problems with my shoulder, developing lumps and bumps and crooked claw-like hands, swelling in my feet, this fatigue that would just hit you out of nowhere. So when I went to see the GP, newly qualified GP, God bless her, and she'd looked at my medical history, and she said, looking at all the evidence with losing all my hair, all the symptoms, she felt I had an autoimmune disease, which could either be lupus, and she said, but I don't think it's lupus, so it's going to be like rheumatoid arthritis. So off I went to the rheumatology, and then August the 15th, I went back for the results after all various blood tests, and the consultant said, oh, you know, I've got some bad news, sad news. And I went, oh, am I dying? And she started laughing. She went, no, you're not dying. And I went, oh, well, that's all right then. And so she was like, oh, you always cheer me up. And she says, no, it's not rheumatoid. It's lupus, and it's the worst one, the SLE, which is systematic lupus, but I don't know what the E stands for. I can never say it. That's why I just wash it away. And she says, so it is there's no cure. You just have to learn to live with it. But there are some side effects like strokes, heart attacks, and you have to be on medication for life. So I was like, well, I don't want that one. I want the rheumatoid. So we had a laugh about that. And then she said, right, so we're going to send you to MRI. So I went to MRI and I've got my consultant, Mr. Parker. He's fantastic. So when he met me, he was like, wow, because I had no hair and I didn't hide it and no eyelashes. And he went over everything, read the records, and he said, how long have you had this? So 10 years, 9 years then.
Wow.
And he's like, wow. And I was on this wheelchair, and so he set me off on a high dose of steroids just to relieve the pain and the fatigue, and lots of other tablets to help maintain it. And then, like I said, I suffered with anxiety. That was my worst health issue because I couldn't work. I couldn't do the activities that I normally do.
And your other kids were how old then?
So they were young. So Tammy would have been at this stage 4, Jamal would have been 8, and Curtis would have been around 12, and Naomi's 15. Yeah.
And how did you feel not being able to cater for their needs?
Oh, it was awful. I just felt like I wasn't a mum, that I couldn't look after them. In fact, I needed them to help me just, especially the older two, Naomi and Curtis, they had to look after me, dress me, feed me, cut up my food and stuff like that. It was horrendous. But, you know, with God's good grace, I went for counselling. They recommended that I'd go for counselling because the postman would come and I'd hide so he wouldn't see me. I couldn't go out, so I was a prisoner in my own house. But with counselling, that helped, and it started with going to your door, going to your doorstep, going to your gate. So baby steps till I was able to do that. And then I got fed up of being in a wheelchair and everyone talking either to my daughter or to what does she want, and being hitting. It's just so inconsiderate, being hit in the face with shopping bags. You don't exist when you're in a wheelchair.
Wow.
And you know, that was the first lesson that I said, that whenever I come across anybody with an impairment in a wheelchair or on a stroller, I'm going to be mindful of how I speak, that I speak to them, mindful where my bags are, you know, just little things like going down the aisles, they're so close, and shopping, and people treat you like you're the burden, instead of thinking, well, we just need to make aisles wider and, you know, and let them get on with it. So it taught me patience. It taught me patience, it taught me understanding. And over the years, you know, I went to a class for what the GP did, a wellbeing class for 12 weeks. And now by then I'd progressed to using the wheelchair and crutches. And she said, well, it's not about what you can't do. Let's look at what you can do. So it's a lot of core work, lying down, and doing core work, like balancing a medicine ball on my stomach, sit-ups, push-ups, that type of thing. And because I'm really stubborn, I hate being dependent, I hate being told what to do. So when I went back, I had to be in rheumatology every 6 months. I still have to go for monthly blood tests, but then I was in and out of rheumatology blood tests, getting core because it's called a flare when you have a crisis. So I had to keep going backwards and forwards. So I vowed the next time he sees me, I'm going to be on crutches. So I made that, I got onto crutches, and he went, now you can go and do Pilates or yoga. And I went, have you seen me? have you seen what I've got? How am I going to do this? But you know what? I thought, trust in God. And I went, and my first yoga teacher was Sandra. And years later, like 2 years down the line, she said to me, when you walked into class, my face fell. And I thought, what am I going to do with her? But, you know, I did what I could, rested. And that's how I've approached my lupus. I'm still on steroids, but just one, because I'm on 5 mg, because every time they tried to lower it, it sent me into immediate flare. So Mr. Parker says I'm one of those very stubborn people that will not give up the steroids, so I'm on that. But through hard work and belief, I've got a full head of hair.
Yes, I can see.
Full head of
Lovely.
hair, and I don't need my crutch. Sometimes I use a crutch when I'm tired. When I'm tired or overworked, and in winter is my danger points. I can do most things like cooking again. I can cook my own food, but I can't lift anything. My hand's weak. And just slowly and surely, but I realised I had to go through that. When people said, oh, weren't you angry? No, I wasn't angry, because why shouldn't it be me? I know a lot of people say, why me, Lord? But I say, well, why not? There's obviously a lesson there. And it's taught me to patience, as I've mentioned before. It's given me understanding. And also when I've come across in school, mainly, parents that, you know, they're going through depression or anxiety, I understand. I don't say I understand everything that they're going through. Everyone's depression, anxiety is personal to them. But I have an understanding, and I know what it takes to get up and show up at work or go through the door, and the effort it takes just to do that. I was also fortunate enough to meet 2 women. One has rheumatoid arthritis, and she's really suffering. And she said, nobody understands, I can't do this, I can't do that. And I just said, come to my room, gave her a cup of coffee, and then twirled around and said, that was me, where you are now.
Wow.
But look at me now.
Wow.
So faith and determination will get you through. It's not going to be easy. It's going to require blood and sweat and lots of tears. But with the right medication and working with your consultant, you can get there. So she's off her crutches.
Wow.
She's doing baby steps. She's walking slow, but she's there. And I'm there supporting. I'm her biggest cheerleader. Every time she meets a goal that she has set,
I guess you a ring.
Yeah. Yay, we did it.
Amazing.
But I only know that because of my health issues and having to go through them and still go through them. But what I say to myself is, you don't matter, I do, and I get on with it.
Wow.
And I'm not going to let it slow me down. But I know I've only got through those health issues and with the lupus because of God's grace.
Wow. I was going to ask you how your faith, what role your faith played in the entire process.
A lot, because my mum she was very faithful, and she brought us up in the faith. I mean, she went to Church of England. She wasn't what she calls the Pentecostal type, but she went to high church. But she always prayed, and she always said to me, there's a reason. You don't have to see it, you don't have to understand it, but there's a reason, and God knows best. So I always had that at the back of my mind. And if I ever felt sorry for myself, and I'm not going to lie, there were times when I couldn't roll over, or I couldn't sit up, or couldn't hold the little one or plait her hair, I would cry and think, why can't I do this? You know, and just silly things like you reach for a cup and I think I've got the cup and it's just fallen because I haven't at all. And I just have to laugh now and think, oops, better invest in plastic stuff now, because I kept breaking things. But, you know, he gave me the courage to go on, even in my bleakest moments when I thought, this is no life, I can't go on. Someone would show up a song would play, a hymn will play. My auntie from America would just say, "Oh, I was thinking of you," and send me a prayer, or say, "Listen to this prayer," and it would make me think, yeah, there's hope, and this will pass. And it has, and I'm grateful for every second. I don't complain when I'm in queues, because when I was in a wheelchair, I used to say, "I'll never complain if I get out of this chair." And I don't. I like queuing. Wow. It sounds crazy. I like queuing. I like standing. I do Pilates. I do yoga. I do dance. I do body pump. I go walking to Urmston twice a week with Maxine. Wow. I'm busy, and I have my moments when not the depression's gone, the anxiety's gone, praise be, but in winter, that is a struggle. I was born to live in sunnier climes.
I know.
So my joints don't hurt, and I've been lucky because my principal has ensured that I have a heater in my room, so I can turn that on. I've had adjustments made, so I've got a special chair, so because my back curves, so I've got a special chair. I've got the talking thing, I can't remember what the device is, but I can talk when my hands are too tired, or the Claude, I can just talk to my laptop and it will print. So there's been lots of investment in me, and my mum used to say it's because you're valuable. Yes. And to be fair, she says to me, because I told her I wanted to drop a day, and she said to me, "No, because that means you're going to retire and you're not retiring." And she tells me that I'm important, and that's nice to hear. It's always nice to be valued, but my value is working for the Lord, and I was asked to do this, and I thought, well, okay, if that's what you want, I'll do it, because it might help somebody else that's suffering, and thinks, this is my lot. It isn't, faith will carry you through. Might not be immediately, because, like I said, 10 years next month, looking back, I thought my life was going to be that person in that chair relying on others, and now I can run around, not fast, but I can run around and I can help. So, don't give up on yourself, and certainly keep talking and praying, and the Lord will deliver.
Wow. You've highlighted some of the things that you learned, some of the lessons you've learned, like patience. Are there other lessons you learned during that process? Patience
is a big thing for me, because I was an impatient person. I was always running to the next thing, and now I've learned to be still and just wait and listen and observe and see what happens. Understanding of ailments and what they physically, what they can lead to. I've always been in a caring profession, social, but when I was younger I was a carer, then moved into social work at 22, and then I'm pastoral now. So I've always been in a caring profession. And sometimes in my life as a social worker, I saw things and I used to think, why don't they just get up and move, or give yourself a but that's having a Jamaican dad who does not believe in mental illness. It's pull yourself together. You really need something to moan about, and if anything, I gained more empathy. I gained more empathy because it's not that easy. And when my dad said to me, "Why are you off?" and I said, "Oh, I've got depression," he went, and that was it. That was the end of the conversation. He could understand the physical ailment better, because he'd say,
struggled with the
mental health. No, my mum was a nurse, so she got it, and she tried to explain, and he'd be like, excuses. But being in a wheelchair, being on crutches, she can't work. You hear say, no, she can't work because she got a bad back or something. It's whatever came to his head that day while I was in the chair. but empathy. And I think having those personal experience or even living close to somebody with a disability gives you that empathy and insight, because three of my children have gone into education, and my eldest is now a psychologist. She wants to work with children who are carers. And she says that's because of you, what happened. My son is the head of year 11 at a local school in Wythenshawe, and he started working with children that were on the fringes, so weren't going to school for whatever reasons. And my last one, she lives in Birmingham and she's a teacher for year 8 special needs. And I think because of my experience, they've gained that understanding of wanting to give back. And like I said, I just thought, rush, do this. Patience, understanding, empathy. Until you're in that situation, you do not know how difficult it is. If you told me 5 years before I had my depression that I would be scared, people be like, I'd be like that, like, wow, no way, chat till you can't, it's, you hide. No, I'd be like, no, that's not me. But until it happened, until I found myself hiding, even though I couldn't even get back up, I had to crawl up the stairs from the postman, that's when it hit me. You're not you. You're not you. And then my husband forced me to go out and I was a wreck. And I'd say, right, okay. And I had to make the deal that it'd be first thing in the morning when nobody was around, or last thing at night, until one day he said, I'm not doing it anymore, because he's of Jamaican heritage. He said, I'm not doing it anymore, I don't understand, just go out by yourself. And I just sat in the car and I was like, I can't do this, I can't do this. So I cried, I'm not afraid to say I cried for about an hour. And then I went, right, I'll show him. So I got in the car and my heart was like this. And I only went to Stretford and I was like that. And I got the trolley and whizzed around it as best I could and knocked down whatever I needed with my crook. But that was a turning point that said, no, you can't. This is nothing, You've got to overcome this for you. And then once you've done that, you can show your kids you're on your way back, so that they know you can have setbacks and you can be lost, but you can find your way back and be you. So, like my daughter was saying to me the other day, I said, I'm done this, and she said, God, who would imagine you doing that, Mum? Because you that was hiding underneath the city or something, and now look at you, just talking to and she always used to, because I've always been a talkative person, she used to say, who's that you're talking to? So I don't know. I just met them in the surgery, just met them at the bus stop. So, but I couldn't do that. But now I can, and I'm me, and that's by the grace of God.
Wow.
So if hearing this helps somebody feel, well, she can do it, then maybe I can. I'm telling you, you can. But it's going to take sweat, blood and tears and faith.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, I picked up something that you said. You said that you got to a point and you sort of had this epiphany that you spoke to yourself that, hey, it's time to get up and go. Where did that come from?
I think it's waiting on people, waiting to be taken off the bed.
Frustration,
yeah, and being dependent. And I'm not someone that likes to be dependent.
Okay.
I like independence. My dad raised me to be independent, even though he wanted us to be dependent on him. But
on him, yeah.
It's kind of weird. And that's my nature. I don't mind someone being dependent on me. I don't mind it. but the other way around, it didn't sit well. And I just thought, I think I was in bed and I needed a drink and nobody was answering. And I reached over and then fell off the bed.
Oh.
and then they all came running. And
how did you feel when you fell?
Stupid, angry, but mostly angry at myself because like, why didn't you just bellow a bit more then? So, yeah, and I just thought enough. Enough of being, of waiting and letting others decide. You need to do something. So got to the GP, and when I went for my normal appointment, I just said, I'm tired. And he went, oh, well, it's all part of your illness. Like, no, I'm not tired like that. I'm tired of living like this, of being dependent on others. What can I do for myself? And that's when I went off for the 12-week fitness.
Wow. So you got frustrated, you got tired, and you went seeking help.
Yeah.
And that started the process of recovery.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I want to just point that out for those listening that might be going through the same thing, so they'll bear that in mind, that there's something that happened to you. Then you stepped out, sought help, and acted on the advice you were given.
Yeah, there's no point wallowing, for the want of a better word, and thinking, poor me, because your mind is a powerful thing. So if you believe
good thing you mentioned the mind.
That is your destiny. It will be your destiny.
Wow.
I always felt that that wasn't my destiny. There was lessons to be learned, which I've learned, and I carry forward with me.
I would have said it better. Wow. So looking back now, yes, this happened, but I'm a better person because of that?
Definitely.
Because of the lessons learned?
Yeah. And it makes you stronger.
Yes, it does.
And I am a stronger person emotionally, physically, and mentally. Like I said, you will have your blips.
Yes.
Mine's winter and being overstressed. And that's because I give a lot of myself. I give a lot of myself to my students, to my families, and I want them. I want the best. So when I should be switching off, I will take a call at 8 o'clock because I've got a work mobile. So I will be taking calls. I will be, even though it's the holidays, 2 families have contacted me. I'm writing up the notes. I'm telling the principal who's going, you said you were only going to work Thursday morning. And I'm like, yeah, but this was an emergency. This involved the police. So it's like, oh, okay. But so it's not that my principal is overworking me. It's what I feel I have to do.
Like a sense of duty.
Yeah. Well, I believe that the roles I've been given in life were my purpose. Social worker, pastoral, carer. It's to serve. And I serve God by serving others.
Well said.
But seeking help's important. When you're ready, no one can make you do it. You have to reach that, as I call it, ground zero.
Oh, yeah.
When you hit ground zero, that's when you're either going to accept or say, no, this isn't for me. And then you'll seek help. I was lucky. I've got a really good medical team. My consultant, Mr. Parker, my doctor, and the meds help. I know some people say no, but the meds have kept me alive.
Oh, yeah.
And, and my bit is to exercise and watch my diet. So no to salt, no to fizzy drinks. I still have my chocolate. A little chocolate. Every day have a chocolate.
What's your favorite brand, chocolate brand?
I love chocolate. As long as it's milk. Long as it's milk, I don't care. Chocolate. But yeah, so that is my little heel, Achilles heel. So just instead of the big bars of chocolate and packs of sweets, it's just one chocolate a day, a small one.
That's
and
good.
The sweets, I can live without.
That's not bad. So let's end on a lighter note. What do you do for fun?
Sing very badly. Dancing, walking. I've got a dog called Princess. She keeps me busy, so I go out walking with her. And like I said, we do 2 big walks, Monday and Thursdays around Urmston. Being with family and friends, that's fun for me. And reading murder mysteries.
So if you have an opportunity to pick somewhere to go away for holidays, where would that be?
Oh, there's so many places.
Just one.
I know. Oh, just one. Tenerife.
Tenerife.
I love Tenerife. I think it suits me because it's
The weather?
The weather. Number one is the weather, but also it's full of little nooks and crannies, and I think it represents my personality. It's warm, it's friendly, but it's got these little volcanoes that can. So yeah, Tenerife. That's my go-to place.
That's amazing. Thanks for coming in, Valerie.
Thank you.